The next day, Ella lay in bed. Soon the whole family did the usual. However, this time, Rebecca, Lilith, and Daisy chose to stay home with Ella. Bime and Baby Bear went outside as usual. They thought the younger girls were going to go with them. However, they did not come outside. Bime talked to Baby Bear for a little bit. Then he noticed the girls were still not outside yet. Bime said, "Where are Rebecca, Lilith, and Daisy?" Baby Bear shrugged and said, "Baby Bear does not know." Bime waited for a few seconds because he thought the younger girls were talking a little longer today. After a few more minutes, he said, "What is keeping them?" Baby Bear said, "Well, I don't know. I like honey on my toast." Bime finally went inside the house. Walking through the hallway, he tried to think of what they could be doing. He walked to the girls' bedroom. He knocked on the door. After hearing the knock, Ella got up and opened the door. Then she said, "Yes." "What is it, Bime?" He said, "Where are the girls?" She kindly said, "They are in here." He said, "All of them." Ella nodded. Then she said, "Yes, all three." He said, "Can I come in and talk to the girls?" Ella let him in. Then he said, "Girls, are we going to see the mermaids and mermen?" Rebecca, as the oldest of the three youngest girls, spoke up because she had more of a backbone. She said no. He got confused and said, "Why?" She said that they are boring in real life. He said, "So you like your mermaid dolls more than real-life mermaids?" Rebecca said, "Yes." He got a little irritated and said, "Don't you think that is kind of rude to say they are boring in real life?" Rebecca said, "I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings, but yes, right, Lilith and Daisy." Lilith and Daisy both nodded hard and said yes. Lilith added, "We want to stay here and have fun." Daisy and Rebecca said, "Yeah," almost in sync. Bime did not fully think about the way the girls acted last time, so he said, "Do you girls want to meet new people? Now that you have the opportunity." They all gave each other dirty looks and said no with laughter. Bime was pissed that his little sisters had no interest in meeting new people. He wanted to say something so bad, but he decided not to. He thought, "I will not argue with Rebecca, Lilith, and Daisy anymore." He started to walk out. Then he decided to tell Ella something that might interest her. He said, "Ella." She got a little scared when he said her name. She quickly said yes without thinking. He said, "Christopher asked where you were." Ella got red in the face under her makeup. She wanted to die right there. She could not even look at Bime as he continued, "Well, I think he would like it if you came with me." Ella quickly said, "No, I need to stay with the girls." They were severely bored last time they were there. He wanted his sisters to go, so he said, "How about you all go, and then next time you can all stay here." Ella said no with grace. She did not want to fight with Bime again. He was disappointed in her answer. He wanted her to change her mind, but he decided to let it go this time. He said, "Okay, bye, girls." They all said out of sync, "Bye, Bime." Bime opened the door and exited the room. Then he shut the door before he left the hallway. Ella and the other girls were happy they got their way. Rebecca was disturbed. However, Ella did not notice because she was lost in her thoughts. Rebecca shyly said, "Do you think Christopher likes you?" Ella never wanted to admit to something embarrassing. Therefore she said, "I don't know. He probably wants a hunk of my valuable hair. No one likes me for me. People like the value of my hair." Rebecca was on the verge of understanding how much their parents treated Ella like an object. Rebecca got a little upset because she could see that Ella was not happy and serious about what she said. This caused Rebecca to say, "I love you, Ella." Ella knew her younger sisters were still very immature, so they did not understand all she had been through. Ella said, "My whole life I have been treated as an object. Mum and Dad have used me as like a..." She thought for a second. Then she said, "Piggy bank." The girls were getting a better understanding for what was happening back at home. Lilith and Daisy said, "We love you, Ella." Lilith added, "Not because of your hair and the value it holds. You are better than gold." "Well, your hair is gold, but you understand, right?" And Ella lightly laughed as she nodded and said, "Yes." Then she stopped nodding and said, "Thanks, girls." They all hugged their older sister. After a few tears from Ella, they played for a while. The girls were happy they stayed home instead of walking around mindlessly outside in front of strangers. Vime joined Baby Bear outside. When they were together, Baby Bear said, "Where are the girls?" Vime said, "They want to stay home." Baby Bear said, "Okay, let's go." Vime and Baby Bear went on their way after Baby Bear said, "Okay, let's go." While the girls enjoyed themselves, Baby Bear and Vime made their way to the Merfolk hangout area. Vime thought while walking with Baby Bear, "Thanks to running away, I can meet people, I can make friends and maybe even a girlfriend. Hanging with the mermaids is a great way to understand how normal women think. I wish my sisters would be normal, staying at home and playing. At a time like this they might as well have stayed home with Mum and Dad." "I cannot believe they have all these opportunities and they are wasting them on staying home. Public schoolers never stay home. They are always running the town with their friends. Everyone should run the town." His thoughts continued as he walked with Baby Bear. "I have always wanted to be normal. What is wrong with my sisters? Why do they not want to make friends?" "Well, Ella has the stupid hair problem. She is probably using her hair as an excuse to stop herself from making friends. Why does she have to be like that? I wish Ella could be turned into a different person." Baby Bear is very social. He is almost better at talking to people than I am. That is embarrassing. He sped up so he could ask him, Baby Bear, do you go to school? He said Baby Bear loved preschool, but hated kindergarten. Baby Bear does not want to go to new kindergarten. Baby Bear wants to go to preschool again. He said, well, first grade comes after kindergarten, not kindergarten again. And Baby Bear said, it does. Baim said, yeah. Then Baby Bear said, Baim said, yes, while still walking. Baby Bear said, does Baby Bear like first grade? Does he? Baim got a little annoyed as he said, I don't know, you will have to go and see if you like it. Baby Bear said, you come to first grade with Baby Bear. He rolled his eyes and said, I can't. I am too old, Baby Bear said, though. After a while, they made it to the mermaid hangout. Baby Bear ran out in front of Baim while he was stuck in his thoughts. Baim tried to talk to the mermaids and mermen. The merfolk loved Baby Bear. Baim noticed the merfolk's admiration of Baby Bear. Baim asked Mallory a question. He said, Mallory, how do you all know Baby Bear? She said, well, I babysat him until you kids came in. Now Mama Bear just has Ella do it. She stopped for a second and then she said to Baim, so how old are you? He said, why, I'm 15. She was honest as she said in a snarky way, well, I thought you were younger than that. She almost laughed. Baim did not like the way she spoke to him. He walked away to go talk to someone else. He thought, I wonder how old she is if she thought I was younger. After a while, Baim got an idea of how to discover Mallory's age. He waited for Baby Bear to get away from the merfolk. Once he was away from the merfolk, he walked up to Baby Bear. Then he said, Baby Bear, what are you doing? He said Baby Bear is getting honey for Baby Bear friends. Baim said, well, how old is Mallory? Baby Bear did know at one time, however, it was too long ago that he forgot. Therefore, he accidentally lied. No one told Baby Bear. He said, ask Mallory and don't tell her I told you to ask her. Baby Bear understood. So he said, well, okay, Baby Bear will. Baby Bear forgot about the honey as he walked back to the merfolk. Baby Bear did as his older adoptive brother said perfectly. He stood next to Mallory and said, well, Baby Bear forgot. She said, I forgot what? He said, well, how old you are? Mallory, how old are you? She said, I recently turned 13. Baim was in hearing distance, so he heard that. He nearly hit the floor. He thought she was at least 20. He turned away from the merfolk for a second. He thought, I thought she was older than Ella. Ella's like a child compared to that 13-year-old. Due to his shock, he kind of walked off from everyone else. Baim stood alone for a moment. He thought about how immature Ella was. He thought, if I want to date, I need to change Ella. Ella is a problem. She needs to grow the fuck up. We need to find a way to change her stupid hair. Maybe Christopher has merman miracles and can help me. He likes Ella. I think I could get him to do it. That being his last thought, he walked back to the merfolk hangout area. He stood in front of Christopher. Then he said to Christopher, do you have miracles? He said, yeah. Christopher was a little scared that he shared the info. Therefore he said, why? Baim said, Lela hates her hair colour and her shyness, so I was wondering if you could change her. Christopher said, I would love to help, but I am not the best at performing miracles. I mean, why would someone want to use a miracle to change himself or herself? That is not a healthy self-image to have. Byam said, we really need your help. Christopher said, I don't think that is a good idea. Byam said, why? He said, I don't want to mess up on someone while using a miracle on someone. If I messed up and caused something else to happen to Ella, I would not be able to forgive myself. Byam really wanted him to convince him to change Ella, however he was failing. Therefore he tried a new approach. He said, what would it take to get you to change Ella? Christopher said, well, I cannot do that. I am not good enough with my miracles to do that. And Byam finally got the message that Christopher was not going to help him. He said, okay. Christopher hated to disappoint, so he said, maybe I can come over and talk to Ella. Byam saw hope for his plan, so he said, that would be great. Come over for lunch tomorrow. Christopher said, okay, thanks. Byam said, how will you get there? He said, oh, I can change my tail into legs temporarily. Byam said, wow, that is cool. He said, yes. Byam and Baby Bear hung out with the merfolk until it was starting to get dark out. They said their goodbyes before Baby Bear and Byam started to head home. On their way home, Byam said to Baby Bear, is it okay if Christopher comes over for lunch tomorrow? Baby Bear said, yeah. He said, do you guys have guests over for meals often? And Baby Bear said, yes, I invite merfolk over all the time. And Byam felt better that Mama Bear and Papa Bear were going to be okay with this. Once Byam and Baby Bear got home, they came in the front door. Byam walked up to Mama Bear and asked, Mum, can we have company over tomorrow? And she said, sure. Who is it? He said, Christopher. Mama Bear said, that is fine. And he said, okay, thanks. She said, you are welcome. After talking to Mama Bear, Byam went to go talk to his sisters. He knocked on the door. Rebecca said, come in. Byam came in. He said, someone is coming over for dinner tomorrow. Lilith said, who? He said, Christopher. Ella had small feeling that Christopher liked her. Therefore she said, does he have to come? What about my gold hair? Byam thought he was right, so he said, I invited him so he can change your hair colour. Ella got annoyed as she said, I hate my hair and all, but we need it. My hair is going to pay the bills when we move out. Byam said, you mean when you move out? Ella was stunned by what he said, so she said, aren't we living together? He said no. Ella said, okay, then you can pay your own bills. He said, so you don't want your hair colour changed? Ella was emotional and honest as she said, it is for the best that I keep it. It is my curse and my gift. She thought, Byam is going to have to fix this. Therefore she said, Byam, you are going to have to fix this. Tomorrow you will talk to him. You will tell him that I don't require his services. Okay. He knew he was going to look dumb for saying that earlier, so he said, Buh. Ella said, sorry, Byam, you brought this on yourself. Byam was pissed that his plan was falling through. Then Ella asked, wait, he is a merman. How is he going to get here? Byam was angry, but he answered her question. He can get temporary legs. But Ella said, well, he said, why, we'll see you all later. Ella said, well, okay, bye. He said, bye. Then he left their room in anger. Before Ella could think about all that went down, dinner was finished. They went on their walk. While on the walk, she stayed away from Bime because she was mad at him. Soon they returned to the dinner table. Ella thought while eating, I need to eat quickly so I can go to my room and think. Ella tried to eat quickly without making it look suspicious. Ella finished eating first, then she went to her room, and then she sat on her bedroom floor. She thought, Bime wants to change me. Is he trying to help me? He hates the way I am. I can't believe he actually wants to talk to people now. It is like I don't even know him. I really don't know what he is trying to do here. Help me or help himself. He wants us to make friends. No, Bime could never be like that. Ella was disturbed and bothered all night by everything that went down. She thought Bime was talking about me and my rare gold hair with that merman. Is he trying to get me killed? I hate Bime, okay? I do not hate Bime, but why are men so fucking stupid and selfish? He wants to change me because that is what he wants. I wish I was never born. Then we would not have been homeschooled. Mum and Dad would not want to live off of my hair. They would have had a normal life if it was not for my stupid ass being born. Soon they went to bed, they said their prayers, then they went to sleep.